I'm Lieutenant Commander Kate Cunningham, and today I'm going to discuss performance counseling. I'll cover the following. The purpose of performance counseling, per Buper's Instruction 1610.10, is to enhance professional growth, encourage personal development, and improve communication among all members within the command. It should be a frank, open discussion of individual performance with reference to the 7 performance traits on the fitness report. There are 6 major objectives to accomplish during a performance counseling session. Both the supervisor and the member need to be invested in these objectives to accomplish them. First, identify the member's strengths and needed areas of improvement. Second, address specific areas of performance improvement by demonstrating genuine curiosity and asking questions to guide the member to create an actionable plan to develop in those areas. Third, develop a performance growth plan, either using eNavFit or NAVPERS Form 1610/19. Those goals should be challenging but realistic and attainable by the member. Number 4, review goals and accomplishments that occurred during the counseling period. Provide feedback on achievements. Ensure the member has a clear understanding and acknowledges their performance during the counseling period. Objective number 5, communicate and clarify what is expected of the member between now and the next performance counseling session or performance evaluation report. Number 6, ensure Transition Assistance Program military life cycle counseling for members is conducted to members who may be leaving the service during the coming year. More information on the Transition Assistance Program is available via the My Navy HR link listed here. We've reviewed the purpose of performance counseling and the objectives that need to be accomplished by the member and the supervisor. Now we'll review when performance counseling is required. Chapter 18 in the Buper's Instruction 1610.10 provides amplifying guidance on performance counseling. Counseling must be performed at the midpoint of each evaluation cycle and when the fitness report is signed. Here is the periodic report calendar delineating when regular reports are due to be signed for each rank. Report periods may not exceed 15 months. Commanding officers and officers in charge, or OICs, are reporting seniors by virtue of their command authority. They may submit fit reps, chief evals, and evals on any service member who has reported to them for duty, whether junior or senior to them in grade. OICs are reporting seniors if they are in charge of commissioned or established activities listed in OPNAV Instruction 5400.45. Reporting seniors oversee the counseling program, but the development of performance evaluations and counseling execution must be a team effort. Remember back to our third purpose of performance counseling: improve communication among all members within the command. This objective cannot be met if the evaluation and performance counseling process is only being executed by a single person. Dedicated raters and senior raters ensure a member is getting a wider perspective of their performance and ensures leadership between the member and the reporting senior get to hear how the team could improve from the perspective of each individual on their team. Enclosure 2 in Buper's Instruction 1610.10 lists the reporting senior and rater reports based on command size. Rater and senior rater signature blocks are not on fit reps or chief evals, but a similar performance evaluation and report generation process should occur for officers and chiefs. The individual should draft initial inputs, and the supervisors between them and their reporting senior should be involved in the report and feedback process. The performance counseling session is an opportunity for an individual and the command to improve. That includes training and exposure for raters, senior raters, and future reporting seniors. Take advantage of that. The regular reports and midterm counselings ensure these development opportunities are scheduled and being exercised fleet-wide. Here is the midterm performance counseling schedule. Performance counseling may be provided in an earlier or later month, but it may not be omitted or unduly delayed. For midterm counseling sessions, the fitness report must be used as the performance counseling worksheet. Blank forms must be generated using eNavFit or NavFit 98 Alpha. Midterm performance counseling reports do not need to be typed, but blocks 1 and blocks 29 through 31 must be completed. Supervisors should discuss performance elements as they relate to the 7 performance traits and subcategories on the form. Performance standards may be marked for discussion purposes. Comments and recommendations for improvement may also be entered into Block 41. Do not mark promotion recommendations at midterm counselings. Supervisors, be careful not to make promises or guarantees to a member during a midterm counseling regarding what their marks or recommendations will be at the end of the performance evaluation period. At the completion of the midterm counseling session, the supervisor must enter the date in Block 30 and enter their name in Block 31. Give the member a copy of the worksheet and retain the signed original version in a command file that complies with provisions of the Privacy Act. When completing the next required fitness report following that midterm counseling, type the date and counselor's name from the worksheet into Blocks 30 and 31 of the report. Upon detachment of the member, the original performance counseling worksheet should be given to the member or destroyed. We've covered when counseling sessions must be performed and who at a minimum should be involved in the report and counseling process. Let's get into the specifics on how to prepare and what should occur in the counseling session. First, we'll review what the coach or supervisor should do prior to a performance counseling session. They'll utilize the regular report and midterm counseling schedule requirements to generate a long-term counseling plan for their team, while also factoring in any special, concurrent, or operational commander reports that may be required or desired on a case-by-case basis. Turning that long-term plan into a command, department, or divisional schedule, they can follow this checklist for each individual. Members and all parties involved in the counseling session should have at least 1 week's notice for planning and preparation. We'll review a member's pre-counseling checklist shortly. Last-minute scheduling decreases all parties from getting adequate planning time to maximize the productivity of the counseling session. SHIP schedules fluctuate, so if sessions have to be rescheduled, ensure everyone involved has ample time to tailor feedback to each member being counseled. Supervisors may ask their officers to bring their PSR and OSR to the counseling session or to route them in their report folder so they may be reviewed in advance of the session. Purpose 1 and 2 of the counseling session were enhance professional growth and encourage personal development. Assessing the member's career in its entirety and tying current performance to overall performance support these goals. These sessions should review when the member is up for their next administrative or statutory board. Reviewing their record provides forceful backup to them and may lead to follow-on actions if their record is not board ready. Please refer to our YouTube board videos for a step-by-step on validating record board readiness. Once the session is scheduled, the member should start working through their pre-counseling checklist. NAVPERS Form 1610/19 is an additional development tool to use during counseling sessions. It's available on the My Navy HR page linked at the bottom of this slide. Completing this form prior to your counseling session ensures a member has taken the time to identify their strengths and opportunities for improvement, think through short and long-term goals, and ensure their performance to date has been captured ahead of their discussion with their supervisor. Counseling sessions are an opportunity to hold yourself accountable for your goals and performance. This individual development plan is an excellent tool to do that and allows you to retain a record that you can reference as you progress through your career. Counseling sessions are a good reason to get documentation together reflective of the time period being discussed. Ensure any qualification designation letters have been sent in to your detailer. If they have, ensure they're correctly reflected on your OSR. Assess how you're doing on qualifications or goals you had prior to beginning that tour or since your last counseling session. Think through ways you're being supported and areas you wish you had more support from the command. Draft a rough outline of points you would like to discuss to include general command feedback. The more specific your points, the more they could catalyze change. Mentally prepare yourself prior to your counseling session so you're in the best mindset to effectively exchange feedback. Schedule a walk topside, work out, talk to family or a shipmate to relax or use that supportive person as a sounding board for anything you've been introspective on regarding your performance or an issue you want to bring up with your supervisor. After all parties have properly prepared, the counseling session day has arrived. The session should occur in a space with minimal distractions. Place a sign on the door, block out the session windows on the POD, whatever works for that command and location to ensure the conversation can take center stage and develop naturally without interruptions. The supervisor should begin the session with a summary of the purpose of the meeting, and the member should provide a recap of their performance period since the last counseling session. The member has already made a draft outline of what they would like to discuss, so they should be doing the majority of the talking, with the supervisor asking questions to get amplifying information or to work through problem solving depending on the topic the member is discussing. After the member has covered their points, the supervisor should provide specific feedback. Give examples of watch-standing improvements or deficiencies, qualification accomplishments, or qualifications that need more focus from the member. Observe leadership and team-building attributes or lack thereof. If there is a signed report resulting from the session, those attributes, milestone, and promotion recommendations should match the supervisor feedback being provided. Feedback and questions exchanged between the supervisor and member must be honest, professional, and productive. If the member hasn't brought up specific command feedback, the supervisor should ask what the command can do to help them improve and accomplish the goals that have been discussed so far. The supervisor and the member review and sign any applicable documentation, agree on any follow-up items, and end the session. Based on feedback from the fleet and PERS 32, here are some supervisor best practices. Ensure you're providing specific feedback. You're doing great or you're struggling isn't going to lead to positive change. Being able to provide direct, honest, and specific feedback for members and commands takes time to observe, requires routine note-taking, and support from the team around you. When experienced assessors come on board or departmental leadership are cross-pollinated to maximize the command's performance ahead of an inspection, it's a great opportunity to get an outside set of eyes on how well people are performing. Utilize your leadership consistently to get objective feedback on your team's performance so it's not a last-minute scramble to provide specific guidance during counseling sessions. Having the member's team in the counseling session can diversify the feedback and perspectives on the member and command's performance. For fitness reports, please tell members how they rate compared to your RISCA vice the summary group listed on the report. Boards place higher value on relative RISCA performance, and members should know what that is prior to signing the report. If a fit rep is missing the next afloat milestone recommendation in Block 40, the member deserves an explanation. Not having that recommendation may lead to them failing to screen for their next afloat milestone or being descreened if they've already screened for that milestone. RISCA is calculated by PERS 32 based on accepted reports in that rank. Most reporting seniors maintain a personal RISCA tracker by rank when generating reports and managing their RISCA. RISCA is calculated on the first day of the month, 90 days from the performance evaluation end date. Trait averages for performance evaluations received late will be applied to the next scheduled monthly RISCA update. If one report is rejected, the entire summary group gets rejected. In fiscal year 22, the eval and fit rep rejection rate was 26%. A list of the most common rejection reasons may be found at the My Navy HR link listed here. PERS 32 also has a helpline to assist with your report or RISCA questions. For members, prior to signing a report, ensure the report start date begins the day after your last report ended. Always routing your last fit rep with the fit rep being generated allows all parties to quickly validate date continuity. Ensure all PFA cycles that occur during the date range of that report are correctly accounted for. The Block 20 PFA codes listed here are found in Buper's Instructions 1610.10. Read your report in its entirety and validate that everything is spelled correctly. Prior to signing, if RISCA hasn't been discussed, ask what your reporting senior's cumulative average is. If anything on the report or in the discussion doesn't match your perceived performance during that reporting period, make sure you ask for clarification. If you leave the counseling session confused or unclear on how to improve your performance, you have not accomplished the 6 objectives we reviewed earlier. This session is a great opportunity to discuss your slating window, slating intentions, tour timing impacts, and talk about your next milestone board timing. Please check out our slating and board YouTube videos for amplifying information. Our SWO career path planning tool is also available for long-term planning and could be completed and brought to a performance counseling session to aid the discussion. After the session is complete and any applicable paperwork has been signed, be sure to file the paperwork in your personal records. If a fit rep was signed, follow up on BOL to ensure it is reflected in your PSR. Reports take time to process after they are sent in by the command, but if they aren't reflecting after 3 months, follow up with your command to ensure the reports weren't rejected. Here are some additional resources to aid in performance counseling and improve coaching skills. If you have questions for PERS 41, we're always available to you. Please reach out to go_SWO@navy.mil or utilize our contact list on My Navy HR. We reviewed the following topics. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.